Hello everybody, this is Debbie, from Teacher Success Coach. I hope that you guys are all well. I haven't been here for a while because I have changed schools. So I'm now in the mixed school. It's a mixed academy and it's quite nice. Yes. What am I grateful for? The opportunity to be in different schools, the opportunity to support my students, and I'm also grateful for being alive. That's the far most important factor. Grateful for being alive, because with being alive and being healthy, etc., you have the opportunity to do lots of things that you would like to do. So that's what I'm grateful for. Yes, I am in a new school. I've started the school 4 weeks ago, but there have been a number of changes. It's an interesting school. One of the things in that particular school they do is a lot of personal development for the students, and that's really, really good, because I do feel that a lot of students need it, especially around this time, having had the lockdown, going back to school. The mental health is all over the place. So it's very, very good, the fact that the school is actually offering personal development. So that is done for all the students in the school from year 7 all the way up to year 13. So every morning for 20 minutes, roughly 20 minutes, we have a personal development session. So in some schools, they might call it tutor time, where, there isn't much being done. But in this particular school, it's all about them, about the students themselves. So it's either we do mindfulness, we do mindset, we do in terms of checking in with them, how they're feeling. And on Friday, we also do a literacy session, getting them to express themselves, getting them to express how they're feeling. And on Friday, we do something called praise session, which means that we are praising the student as for what they've done. And we also do something called shout out. So if a student have done something really good, it doesn't have to be from your class, so you give them a shout out. I must say, this is the only school that I've been in and I've seen this. It's beautiful because it does a lot for the students' well-being, and it does a lot for the mindset. It does a lot for the self-development. So that's really, really good, because the students are talking about it, because it's obviously making a difference. And the school have only just started doing that. This is not something they've always done. They've only started that in September. So initially, some of the students was a little bit reluctant to embrace it, because they said, oh, well, Miss, we almost at the end of our year at school, and then now starting this, etc., etc., because they're not used to it. Because as you know, if your mind is not used to something, it rejects it and it puts up a fuss, because it doesn't see the beauty and the value of doing that. So what I had to do with the student is show them the reason why doing these things is very useful for them, especially if some of them are going over to university. It actually helps them, especially the mindsets, the mindfulness session we're doing. As I say to them, it reduces your stress level. It actually makes you become focused. And in terms of consistency, it also helps with all of that. So it's like getting them to see the power in mindfulness. Some of them have, but I'm still working on the rest of them that, is a little bit reluctant. And, reluctance come as a result of not doing that before. So therefore it's something new. And a lot of them have to step out of their comfort zone, because when we do the mindfulness, it's like they're actually identifying an image, talking about it. Or another thing is the various pictures which they're going to be coloring, and I'm saying to them that you need to do it mindfully, not just do it any old how. I want you to focus on it and give it your attention and stuff like that. So these are some of the things the students are finding challenging, because this is something they're not used to. But I must say, I've started, this is week 4, and it's going quite well, because when I first started going through it with them in terms of personal development, there was a lot more resistance. But as I said to them, that what we need to do is we need to compromise. Okay, we have 20 minutes. Some of you find it's a waste of time, or some of you find that, you know, you need to do some revision as well. Okay, let's compromise. I do it for 10 minutes, and then you have 10 minutes to do what you have to do. So far, it seems to be okay, because initially they just didn't want to do it. But I said to them, you have no choice, you have to do it. But if you want us to work together, we'll have to compromise. So, you know, they've been compromising quite nicely. And it means when they come into the session, you know, I discuss it, we talk about it, we get on with it. And then when we finish in 10 minutes, they go the other 10 minutes to do what I want to do. And that seems to be working. Well, my class session today, there's some days I'm teaching back to back, because there are six periods. And there's sometimes when one period finishes, I'm teaching, you know, one other period. Today was one of those days. It was just teaching back to back. Having said all of that, there was so much magic in that. There was so much beauty in my session. Because when you hear students saying, oh yes, they understand the topic, or it's making sense to them, it really does feel good, because it makes you feel as if, yes, you are doing what you are there to do. So educators, I know some of you might be feeling overwhelmed. You might be feeling slightly stressed, because I know it's very, very stressful. But at the same time, you also have to remember that you're making a difference in some of the children's lives, because you might be the only positive person in their life, and it makes a difference. Or the only person that's saying to them that they are good enough and they're able to do it. So as educators, I understand it's challenging. I know it's challenging. I know it's tiring. But at the same time, we need to remember why we're there, what we're doing, what we do, and the fact that we are making an impact. Another factor is that some students relying on you and some students depend on you. My last class today was a little challenging. Oh, I should say, they think it was challenging. You know, I did the sixth form, and they were talking, they were not listening. It's like saying to them, oh, you guys be quiet, we want to finish the topic because we're looking at functionalists. I was doing sociology with them. They were doing their own thing. I said that I'm going to start, you know, I'm going to use the behavior policy. Oh, but Miss, we sixth form. Yes, but you could get detention. And they were just, I don't know. After lunchtime is always the case. Anytime, you know, the student goes off for lunch, when they come back, it always seems to be challenging. So I really don't know what's going on out there. Anyway, they were just continuing, and I said to them, it was a small group, it's about 15 of them. And I'm saying to them, you guys need to settle down, because I'm trying to finish the topic today. They were not hearing it. Who were having a little private conversation. Talking to them, turned out, I think, you know what? I've had enough of it. So I got up and I started using the behavior policy. I say, well, I've sworn to you guys several times. It's time for me to put it on the board. Oh, but Miss, you say you don't believe in detention. Yes, I do not believe in detention. But if you cannot take responsibility to behave how you ought to behave, then I would have to treat you as I would treat the younger children, whereby give you detention because you're not taking responsibility. Anyway, we almost finished the topic, but it was still very disruptive. Well, in the end, I actually have 6 of them on detention. And initially, I was going to give them an hour detention each. Oh, Miss, you know, we're really sorry. And it's like all this plea bargaining at the end of the session, you know, staying in, you know, because that was my last lesson, pleading with me. I was not interested. I am not interested. Because you see, what I discovered is the minute you allow them, because I've been allowing them from last week, because I keep on saying to them, especially in my last lesson, you guys need to get yourself sorted. You guys need to behave yourself. I understand it's the end of the day. I hear all of that, but you know, your lesson is only an hour, and we have a lot of mind breaks. Because after every 20 minutes, we have mind break. You know, we switch activities to do, we stretch, you know, we move around. You know, we do quite a lot. I said to them, just think, in other classes, you guys are sitting there for the hour. But in my class, after every 20 minutes, we're moving around. But you're not listening. Anyway, I think it's about 6 of them on detention today. And it was interesting because initially it's like, oh, Miss, you know, you're not going to put me on detention. Really? Try me. So I, do the behavior policy, and I have 6 of them on detention. The interesting thing about it is, towards the end of the lesson, probably the last 20 minutes, they actually got themselves sorted. Because one student actually wrote a very, a very positive, she was very, very good on Friday, a very, very positive session. She was one of the students who I had to put on detention. I'm saying to her, I don't understand. On Friday, I gave you such a fantastic report because you were brilliant. You were on fire. You were great. And today, what happened? Oh, Miss, I'm really sorry. And that's all I had from them. Oh, Miss, I'm really sorry. It's not going to happen again. Really, I'm not interested. So it'll be interesting to see, because today I couldn't, although I gave them the detention today, because it's after 1 o'clock, it meant that they're not able to do it for today, so they're going to be doing it tomorrow. So it'll be interesting because I'm seeing them every day this week. What happened on Wednesday in terms of, how they behave, because I'm saying to them, I am not making joke with you guys. I am, I'm going to give you guys attention. Detention is not my thing, but if that's what I have to do, if I have to be doing that in order for you to realize that you're here for a reason, I have to do that. And I'm saying to them, you're a psychology student. You are programmed. So I have to give you the attention for you to behave yourself, for you to realize that that's not the way you should behave. So it's really sad, because as much as some educators don't like to give detention, because I find it's very programmed, I also find that I don't feel detention serve any purpose. But it means that they're going to be sitting there and going to waste the time, whereas they could have been doing something else. So it'll be interesting to see the outcome, and I told them that I should not be repeating that situation. In spite of all of that, summarizing the lesson, they've learned quite a bit, but at the same time, the behavior was all over the place. They were disrespecting each other, shouting about each other, not listening. I can't deal with that. As I said, I'm a teacher, not shouty teacher. So that's one of the ways I dealt with the disruptive behavior in the classroom. How do you deal with disruptive behavior in your classroom? What do you do when students are not listening? Because in the school, you either send them outside for, I think they say 365, so therefore it's about for 2 minutes, whatever. You give them work and send them to the LRC, which is library. You give them detention, or you call senior leadership team, and then you email. So I've decided I wasn't going to go and email. I wasn't going to call senior leadership team because they didn't warrant that. So what I did was give them detention. So that's one of the sanctions in terms of the behavior pattern. So as a result of such behavior, I give them attention. So as I said, it'd be quite interesting to see what happened after they've had the detention, because they said, oh, Miss, don't give me an hour detention. No, I was only giving them half an hour. And Miss, don't email your team, because if you email their team, they're going to phone my mom. And that's what they're all saying. Miss, just give us the detention. You don't have to, email team. I haven't told them whether or not I was emailed the team or not. I didn't email the team. I'm just going to just give them the detention. So I just hope that the behavior have changed. They're a fantastic group of students. But today, I'm not too sure what's happened. And I also feel, as we know, when you're in a new establishment, students tend to want to push the boundaries to see how far they could go with you. And I say to them, don't bother, because I really, I'm not taking that. So you might feel that you're pushing the boundaries, but it'll backfire on you because you're the one going detention. So that was one of the ways that I've actually dealt with that situation. Could I have done something differently? Yes, I could. But in that school, they have the attention policy, and it's important that as educators, when we're in an establishment, we all sing from the same hymn sheet, so that students don't feel that, some teachers are a pushover, etc. Right. In that particular school, there have been, I should say, in a number of schools around London, the students, they are so hyperactive. I'm not too sure what's going on there, because, on Friday I noticed that, there was a fight because one student having a beef with another one, the argument, I don't know. I also feel that yes, it's almost 5 weeks in schools have been open, but students are also beginning to feel the exhaustion. And I think right now it's time for a break. We break up next week, and everybody's looking forward to the break, the students as well as the teachers, because I do feel that we need some time off from each other, because it's been very, very, very intense. Because they have exams in the next few months, so therefore we're preparing them for exams as well. So it's quite challenging for these young people. So that's something we should not underestimate. They might demonstrate that everything is okay. They might give you a lot of lips, etc. But that could be a way for them to demonstrate themselves, because they're going through quite a lot. So educators, what do you do in terms of disruptive behavior? How do you deal with that? And, basically, what do you do in terms of your behavior policy? There have been, some magic moments for me, because today I taught year 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh my goodness. I taught 4 groups, the 4-year groups, and I taught them both psychology and sociology. There have been a lot of magical moments whereby students have been doing some areas for a long time and have not understood it, but they're beginning to understand it, because I keep on telling them that they need to see themselves in the subject. And my lesson is very discussion. I don't chalk and talk, and I don't do gap fill. What is it called? Worksheet. I don't do worksheet, because worksheet, personally, that's me. I don't feel worksheet works for students. They're just quite happy just filling in the information, and when you ask them to summarize, they've got no idea what you're talking about. So they actually have to be active in my class. They need to summarize whatever handout I give them, and they have to write it down and engage in it, and tell us, tell the rest of the class what they've learned from that. So for me, that's one of the ways I feel work for students, rather than just sitting there and filling in worksheet. Because when they're filling worksheet, I've asked one of them, okay, you've done this worksheet, discuss it, tell me about it. Had no clue, because all she said to me, she just copy. So for me, I don't use it. I'm not saying that people shouldn't use it, but that's just me. I don't use it. So those were the magical moments where students are beginning to connect with the subject. Students are beginning to appreciate each other, because I'm giving them a quote. We do little quotes in the gift bags. So they actually come and take one of the quotes, etc. So it was interesting, because I started it last week, and my last lesson, I thought, oh, do I have the energy to do it? I want to say, yes, we haven't got it. We haven't got it caught. And when you actually give them, it's like the excitement on the faces, it's like the excitement of, I am whatever I give, let's say, I am beautiful. I am not a quitter. All these things, it really does make a difference to them, because they just shine through. It's just really is nice. So those were some of my magical moments with my students today. What are your magical moments, educators? You need to identify your magical moment. Even though you are not an educator, as anyone else, you do have magical moments. Find your magical moments, celebrate it, because they are there. Find those magical moments, people, and celebrate it. And celebrate yourself, because there are magical moments. I am not saying every minute is a magical moment. They're up and down. That we have got some good times, and we also, some negative time, because that's how life is. The swings and roundabouts. But regardless what it is within the negative setup, there's always positive, and there's always a magical moment. Find that magical moment. It's there, and celebrate it. Thank you guys for listening. I'll see you guys tomorrow, because I'm still marking. My students are doing exams, and I'm marking mock exams. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, and then I'll tell you what my magical moments were tomorrow, and what it's like in, what's going on with my students and my school. Anyway, share what's going on with you. Tell us what's going on in terms of your school, where you're at, how you're feeling. A problem is a problem shared, or a problem shared, a problem aired, however it is. Anyway, the more we share, the more it becomes light for us, right? And the more we could actually find ways of resolving the issues together. Take care, stay blessed. Thank you guys for listening. Have a fantastic, fantastic evening. Take care. Bye-bye.